What's going on? Move the mouse back in City Skylines, the town of Springwood 2.0, I guess. Revisiting one of the very first maps I built on, and hopefully bringing in a bunch of ideas and tips and tricks that I've learned in my time as a city builder in City Skylines. But we're starting with the absolute basics. We've got no DLC, so just vanilla game on PlayStation 4 this time around. So we're even unlocking the uniques and all that stuff. So that's something, maybe I'll pause the game and talk about that, because we have started unlocking these uniques, but we don't necessarily have access to all of them. So some of them have, or I think all of them have requirements, right? So we look at the statue of shopping. We have to have money less than -1. Oh, I wish we'd done that. I don't think we're going to do that now. I mean, I guess we could buy a bunch of expensive stuff. Fill 3 instances of cemetery. That's easy enough, just takes an awful lot of time, and that takes an awful lot as well. What have we unlocked? We've unlocked Lazaret Plaza and Statue of Wealth. So let's see where we can start slotting some of this stuff in. We want a relatively flat spot. See what we can do here. Let's find a better spot for it. So we'll make a little space. We'll come up this way. You know, where's a decent flat spot? It's gonna have to be on this side of the road, I guess. So let's bring this down some more. It's not like we're going to stop building. And roads, especially in the US, can go on straight forever. In fact, if you look in the distance, that highway almost looks like it's just a part of this road. Okay. We'll get some more side streets in there, because I think if we build towards this side, it's at least a little bit more forgiving. We'll come down 30. Do that, another 30, and cut in again. So we're flat enough over here. It's not going to be ideal necessarily, but let's get one of those in. In fact, that fits perfectly on the block. Let's see what it looks like. It's a little lumpy. That's nothing new here. So we'll keep it for now. What do we got here? Lazaret Plaza. You know, that one's going to be super crooked. That's a shame about building up on the hills here. Maybe if we come down this way. You know, right here. How's it fit on the side street? Leaves a square. So let's do that. Did we unlock landscaping? We did, so we can do paths now, right? So if we wanted to do, you know, something like that, we could do that. We get some extra trees in there, and I think what we can do is at least break this zoning so that nobody moves in right there. Maybe we'll put another park object, or figure out how we're going to bring this over or under that strip of highway. In fact, maybe I won't build much further than that, because we might need a little bit of room here for what I'm thinking of doing with that interchange. In any event, though, those uniques, we unlock different levels of the uniques as we progress through our city, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we unlock all the buildings just yet. So some of these things are really simple and straightforward, like have a full lifespan in the city. Just wait, it'll happen. Others can be a little bit more complicated. Some we just don't have money for. So we'll figure all that out. We'll drop some cool stuff in the city. In the meantime, play on 3x speed. And let's make some money. Let's take a look at where we're at. So which pauses it. So that's ironic. We didn't really talk about landscaping. Leisure is an after dark thing. It's one of the DLCs technically that come with the game bundled in now. So if you have a really old version, or maybe the Epic Store version, I don't know. You may not have that. So if you're playing vanilla, please don't blame me. If we, we'll talk leisure. You may not have it. I don't know. We can talk about the canals and the key K quay conundrum. For those of you that don't know, it comes up all the time in the comments. This is a key, or a key wall more specifically, and it runs along the water. It's spelled Q-U-A-Y. It's pronounced key or K or quay. All three are acceptable pronunciations. So if you say it a different way, it's wrong. If you say it one of those three ways, apparently you are correct. So let me know how you say it in the comments down below. And if you just spell it Q-U-A-Y in the comments, then I will not know which way you were talking about. So spell it phonetically. So we can do canals to move water about. We can use those key K quays to decorate our river edge there. But we've got a bunch of other... I've got a dog sniffing behind me. I was like, what is that? What's going on here? So a couple landscaping tools. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to save the game. Let's save it before we do any of this, because this can get messy and expensive. So we can move terrain up with the X button. We can move it down with the square, and equivalent on the other platforms. You can also grab a height with this tool and then flatten to that height. So if I hold the button down, it'll make everything closer to that height. And if we push up or down on the D-pad, it will change the strength. Left and right changes the size of the tool. You also have this smoother, which just generally smooths things out. But it can only do so much if this street is kind of holding the terrain at that height for these structures, and then down here it's getting pulled down by this road and any structures that sit on that side. You end up having, unfortunately, some pretty crazy stuff happen like this. So this is definitely more of an extreme example. Sometimes things get a little crazy down here. So as you can see, this is technically a staircase that somebody's supposed to enter or exit the building from, and that's a bench. But it is not so easy to get to. And then other stuff like this bulkhead. I don't know if that's supposed to be a way in or out, but it doesn't work. So unfortunately, building on the hills like this can be a little finicky like that. If you're wondering how I got into that view, it's you got to download a mod on PC. It's not possible on Switch. You can do it on Xbox and PlayStation by hitting the back button or the big giant button on the PlayStation controller to go into cinematic free camera mode, and then from there hold triangle or Y, and you can go into walk, drive, or cinematic mode. In drive, you get to plop a car down the road. You can go first person. You can hit X. You can hit square to brake. You can knock stuff over. It's just interesting to see your city from some different perspectives sometimes. And definitely worthwhile. If you have the chance, I definitely recommend walking or driving around your city. So anyways, let's play. Where were we? What did we unlock? So landscaping, did we really talk about all that? Probably not. There is a an incline tool here also. So you can select the height, and then it will basically take the terrain from wherever you start and make a smooth incline up to there. Now, a lot of other stuff that we've unlocked under this landscaping tab, so we can do paths, and I think you saw me do that before. I did it around that park that I dropped in. Not that one, this one. It's got some extra footpaths around it. We also have the ability to place trees, which, I mean, why not? I was gonna say that would be kind of a nice way to fill in this space, but I think we could do with some color, so let's do that. You'll get random variations in the size of the tree. They're a little finicky to place sometimes. Come on, come on, come on. Do I have something moving in on top of my trees? Get out of here. Are you zoned? How did you get zoned? No, get out. I'm putting trees here. Please. So rude. Alright, we'll get a couple different ones in there too. Just for the heck of it. These are kind of nice too. What are these? Corsican pines? I think that's okay. You know, from the right range, when the trees don't pop in and out on texture load. But it can look alright. They swing around pretty fast at 3 times speed, so if you slow it down, it looks a little bit more natural. 3 times speed, it looks kind of like hurricanes coming through. Okay, so where are we at? Well, we need more residential. We might as well build this neighborhood out a little bit. We can just come all the way down there. Connect those streets through. Come on. It's gonna break that house no matter what, huh? We'll let somebody else move in. That's fine. Okay, zoning. Fill tool. It's a bit quicker. We'll do that. And then why don't we select? And not there, not there, not there. Here. We'll fill that side of the block in. And maybe we'll do the same thing up here. So buildings will build 4 blocks away. I probably said it like 10 times already this season. You're tired of it, you tuned out already, or you know already. Thanks for staying tuned. So down here, I mean, we still have so much residential demand. It's crazy. So maybe we can do this. We'll just fill out 1 more block. And we've even gone past where we had our highway, right? We're going to have to think about, where does this highway stop? Do we have a highway, a kind of a coastal highway that comes up through here? Let's think about that for a minute. Wrong, that view. That view helps. So we'll probably buy the square, I think, is what I'm going to do. Pretty sure. So we might have 1 more highway kind of cutting through the middle of the map just to support things, because we've got a decent, otherwise we've got a kind of a beltway almost already that has some decent highway coverage around the city. It's not bad in that regard. Okay, we'll come all the way down to the end of the street. Come on, snap. Right there, thank you. Now, we don't have the craziest of hills in the middle of our map, but I think I mentioned before, I'm loosely using San Francisco as a guideline here, because when I think hilly cities, that is one of the ones that comes right to mind. Why do we not have water up here? Do we not extend pipe coverage, or we don't have enough water? We don't have enough water. So let's just do one more pump for now, or a water tower, whatever. That gets us way into the green. We're good for a while. We'll eventually expand over here and pick up some clean water out of the river. But I've had water act really funny on this map, so we'll see if... because sometimes it just it comes in waves. There'll be almost like a dry spot pushing through the river, and sometimes it'll affect your service delivery. So what else did we unlock that we haven't talked about? So we talked a little bit about that landscaping. Did I finish it? Probably not. I think this is the second time. So you can do bushes, you can do trees, you can do rocks, and there's some really gigantic rocks, and we're already on our next milestone. Pause. And then what is the last? The key, quay, the flood walls, and the canals, which can be shallow, medium, or deep. And basically you can build your own kind of man-made rivers. Maybe we'll do a little canal spot over here somewhere. We haven't done any canals. Maybe we can do a little mini Amsterdam or something. We'll figure out a spot. Stay tuned. So anyways, that's enough. That's landscaping. Let's jump back over here. We're still looking and talking about the last. We've got some event policies. We've got the ability to do a leisure district. That could be interesting to set up. Unique buildings we talked about already. Some new policies. Some new things we can build. High school. Yes. So let's get going on high school. I mentioned it before, but education is so important. We have the gigantic high school here. So this is kind of a European style, I guess. I don't know. Apparently they build gigantic L's, send their students off to school. So, I mean, that's not a bad spot. It's where people live. It's going to interrupt our grid. Do we interrupt our grid up here? Do we put it down over here on the flatter spot and break up our grid in the neighborhood? I think that makes more sense. Let's do it over here. So here, we'll put the school in, facing that street. Okay, now let's break out the roads. Come on, why am I off? There we go. I was on the wrong tool for whatever reason. Okay, we can come through there, so let's do that. And we'll connect this all the way up just to see what we're dealing with. So we've got kind of this road that comes in and cuts through there. What if we gave the students a pedestrian option? Like right there. Will it let me build a pedestrian path right here? I mean, kind of. Does that work? It's a little sloppy. Is this better? Yeah, I think that works better with that little barrier of grass. That's fine. Now, depending on what we want to do, and depending on how it all works, sometimes maybe smoothing the lot out can be a good idea. So grab the height, and you can kind of like stretch everything up to that point within limits, right? You can only go so high next to the road itself. You know, does that look more ridiculous? Yeah, I think so. So maybe we smooth it back out. But there's only so much you can do because ultimately it is attached to a road that has a higher elevation out here in the front. So, I mean, we could move it onto the side and maybe try and split the difference. How much money do we have? Not a ton. I'll do it. We'll go back and clean a lot of this stuff up. Don't stress about this stuff the first time through. Especially if you're playing without the cheats on, right? And if you don't have move it, like, get in the general vicinity. Figure out your lot size. Figure out what you want to do. And then we can come back and clean it up bit by bit. And sometimes I even mean that. Sometimes we'll actually get back to it and get back to stuff. But in the meantime, let's play 3 times speed and then pause it again because we go into the menu. High school, we've got tennis and basketball courts. That could actually be kind of cool for around the school. And then we've got some parks and other objects. So let's see what we can fit in here. If we go over to leisure, that actually works. And I think the tennis court is the same size. So if we line it up like that, you know, that's not terrible. It's not an overcharged egg modular build or anything, but hey, it works. It kind of, those 3 things fit together. You know, that's what it's about. That and the fires, apparently. So keep an eye out for those. Speaking of, let's look at some of our service coverage real quick. Trophy earned, well informed. I went into the info views. Okay. So we're doing okay for electricity. We're going to need that soon. Water's good. We've got 1 fire department over there on the other side. Can we get another one in? How much do those cost? Cost 12,000. So let's do this. Since that'll only take out that business, let's do that. Police. Detained criminals is actually getting up there. So, do we have a little campus patrol? We don't have enough money. We're so close. Do we have... Hang on a second here. Okay, we can pay half that back. Okay, let's do that. Okay. I got an idea here. So we have $500. We can always build some pipes, but we can always jump into economy. Budget. And let's throw the electricity budget way up there. Just for a second. Because we're so close. We need to get into negative money to unlock one of the buildings. So I'm trying to negatively impact the budget. Apparently I didn't do a good enough job. What we're going to do, maybe another police station over here. We've got enough detained criminals to think about it. So let's put that in over here. As soon as we have 12,000. Oh, 12,000 bucks. We got to get our budget. We got to get our budget in the wrong direction. What costs a lot? I think healthcare costs a lot. Let's see if we can get the budget into the red. We need to stop making money, please. It's going down. It's not going down enough. Policies wise, what if we did power usage, smoke detector, and water usage? We'll turn all those on. That should get nice and expensive real fast. Don't get too excited about those smoke detectors. They're coming right back as soon as we owe money. Okay, pause. Let's get as close as we can. Medium roads? We should be able to spend that money on a medium road, no problem. There we go. Okay, so we have 149 bucks and we're losing money, which is what we want. Okay, so pause. We're negative now. That means that if we go back into uniques, right, didn't we unlock one of those? Oh yeah, we unlocked the statue of shopping, but I don't have enough money to put in the statue of shopping. So back to policies. Turn off that stuff that was making us broke. Go back to economy and set our budget back down to 100% on those items that we knock stuff up on. That's how you go in the negative on purpose. Now the interesting thing about the uniques, you have to do some really bad things to your city to make some of the uniques unlock. But what you can do, let me double check the budget one more time, all the way up. We're good. So that should throw us back into the green. What you can do with the uniques is do that terrible thing to your city, break it, stop, save it first, do that terrible thing to your city. As soon as it's done, as soon as the building is unlocked, it is unlocked for all of your save games. So don't worry about it at that point. Just quit, load up your old game before you did the bad stuff to your city, and you've got that building unlocked. Ooh, elder care. That was not a DLC. That was specifically a free update thing, wasn't it? Yeah, we don't have money for that. Please get out of here. Barely got money for what we need to do right now, which is apparently make room for a lot more industry. How's our traffic doing? How is this this diamond interchange doing? 93% traffic. That's not too bad. We're going to want to keep an eye out for newly created stoplights as we expand our roads. It makes stoplights, so we'll have to come back through and check that out at some point. I think I've got enough money. I got to move some more people in over here. We're going to have to extend pipe coverage. Let's also do one quick expansion up this way, I guess. Ooh, a dead person is waiting for transport. Have we not? We haven't put a cemetery in yet, have we? Did I unlocked it, but I didn't Is that the next milestone at 2,400? It sure is. So let's see. We've got some policies. There's not anything really pressing that I want to talk about there. We dropped in some parks. Parks have a happiness effect around them. So even things like the basketball court and the tennis court will help. And they all do something to land value ultimately, which early on we definitely want to think about as being an important driver, especially anything we can do to make it better. Let's find that dog park. It's a small, cheap one if I remember. $40 a week, provides some entertainment, and it has that big happiness bubble. So we want to try and get this where a bunch of people can take advantage of it. So that looks like a pretty good spot. And as we expand out this way, it'll be even better. We've got a little dog park there now. And if we take a quick look at the info views and land value, blue's kind of middle of the road. As we increase the land value, it'll tip more towards the green. When it gets into the white, that's when it's worthless because it's polluted, which what would you expect over here? But we can do some things like policies wise. I think we've unlocked it. Parks and recreation. Make your parks and plazas the envy of the country. Moderately increased land value around parks, but it increases the parks and plazas budget by 20%. This is actually a really good policy to be running until you unlock the Eden Project monument, which we'll be talking about much later. But that kind of negates any land value concerns. It just makes land value really high and it removes all pollution from the map. But in the meantime, leverage and flex those parks as a way to increase land value and maximize your tax income. We'll come all the way down to here. And we're just going to fill out some more space so that as we need it, we'll be able to move more people in. You can kind of tell from the shadows where the hills kick in. Relatively flat over this way. We'll be able to kind of build almost right up to the highway. We'll figure that piece out in a little bit once we unlock that tile over there probably. I think. I don't know. We'll see where we go next. But zoning wise, what do we need? Well, we need a bunch of industry. We're not going to throw that over here. No, we're not going to throw that over here. So we still need people to move in. Do we want people moving in on the street? I'm not a big fan of it. I like to at least move them in a little bit further back. So, like so. We can do commercial on the main, where it's going to be noisy anyways. And right here, let's do our little pedestrian cut-through trick. Just to give people little excuses to be on their feet more and less in a car. Even if it just means cutting a corner just a little bit to walk a little bit faster. Maybe it saves a car trip here or there. And I think it kind of looks the part. We can fill this piece in with trees if we want. Even if we just want to put in like a really big conifer and another tree or two. You can fill it in pretty quick and just make it look a little bit crazy. Maybe we can squeeze a vegetation in there. And that starts to come together a little bit. And it's a little, it's a little slice of wilderness in our otherwise concrete jungle. Because this is going to eventually be all high density anyways. We'll be upgrading this for sure, for certain. So I feel like we've gotten through some stuff. I think that's pretty good for now. It's the stuff that we need to talk about. In the next episode, we get to buy a new area. We're going to start talking transport options in the form of bus and taxi. So start moving people around. Recycling and recreational use, both very, very important policies for their own reasons, for the environment and for mental sanity. And we've unlocked some highway pieces, which is nice. So we'll go ahead and maybe start tweaking some of the highway, or at least maybe start in on that diamond interchange that was built there. Toll booths, we got the cemetery. we put the cemetery down? No, we know of the problem of the cemetery. We'll put the cemetery in the next episode. Until then, hopefully you enjoyed. And if you're enjoying, likes, comments, and shares, they all help the channel a lot, and they are all so greatly appreciated. If you're new here, subscribe for more, and consider hitting the bell to get notifications for updates in this and other series. If you'd like to support the channel, there's links to that and lots of other things in the description down below. Stay tuned. We'll go through that next milestone on the next episode. It's fun to be unlocking all this stuff for the first time. I don't remember the last time I forced my city into the negative to unlock a building, but it's been a few years. So we'll go through all of that. We'll get rid of that. Horrible cloverleaf does not move traffic well. We've learned tips and tricks since then to improve, and that's exactly what we'll do. Stay tuned if you want to learn some of those yourself. Again, hopefully you're enjoying, but until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.